They say there was a guy, Loiluni as they want to call him. He came to his Yiddish neighbor. He told him that every night he's having Gnevis. Every single night they break into his house and they steal everything, even the toilet paper and the tissues and the carrots and the bananas. They empty out the house. They take the wall, the floors, everything. Night after night he comes. He has anything. He knew did they come to you? They steal anything? She says no. She says no. What's the Jewish trick? Well, what do we do? How do we take care of the situation, the problem? She told him there's something called the mezuze. The Eibishter has a shmira, a watch that we put on our door, and it watches the house. It works. She says, no, how do we get a hold of this? He says, try to find one. Go to the local Judaica, pick up your mezuze, put it on the door. So he went, he bought his mezuze, a nice, fancy, big mezuze. He paid Kamesh Tzarich, Mahadrin, Mina Mahadrin. And he puts up the mezuzah on the door. They meet the next day in the morning. No, they meet each other. And Shmerel asks his neighbor, Christopher, no, how was he? He's like, thank God there was no one stole, no one broke in. This Jewish thing watches, it helps. But there's a little problem that I had. I had 10 beggars standing by my door. It's Halacha Yud Gimel, Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, he continues about the idea of putting on the mezuzah on the door. If you're putting up the mezuzah before the door, or you put the door and then you put the mezuzah, is the din of tasa velipa'im and Asui. What has to come first? Even if there's no door on the Pesach, you have to put up the mezuzah. Let's say you need to put the door first, and then you can put up the mezuzah. And therefore, if there's a doorpost that's going to have it on it a door, so you should wait till you put the door, and then you should put the mezuzah. Don't put up the mezuzah, and after that put up the door. Why? There's the idea of that the door should come first and the mezuzah should be on the door. Now the Rebbe says that if there's already a door, you could take down the door after the mezuzah is up and put the door back up. Take off the door and put the door back on after the mezuzah is up. If there's a house which is not made in essence for dira b'kviyus, it wasn't made l'chatchila. It's a container, it's a tank, an RV, whatever it may be that you live in it, a bus. If it wasn't made be'etzem to be b'kviyus, it doesn't have to have a mezuzah. It's patur min ha-mezuzah. Therefore, sukkah sechag b'chag patur. The mezuzah on a sukkah, no, you don't live in the house. It's not the kviyus. Then you have these pop-up stores that are made in the marketplace, not a regular store, like these pop-up little huts that they put up once in a while when they sell in the market. So that is not chayv mezuzah. And you take it apart, or even if you don't take it apart but you leave it there with nothing in it, it's not being used, it's part of the mezuzah. But a regular store which is b'kiviyus, and you keep their schaira, and it's used constantly, and it's an established store, so that is chayv mezuzah even if you don't live in the actual store, because if you eat there, it's already considered a ladiרה. And the essence, the idea of that store is a kviyus liquor store. Aksdara. Now we're going to come into the idea of a aksdara. If you have a place where you store things, or a porch, or whatever it may be, aksdara is v'tikra gabei in the prutza b'revis. You have a shtuckle room, warehouse. It's open on one side. There's 3-4 walls, a roof, but it's open on one side. Even if there is a doorpost, the tzuras pesach, but it's open on the whole ruach revi, on the whole fourth side, it is pater b'mezuzah if there's a big opening, even if it has the shape of a doorpost on the fourth side. The tzuras pesach, a big ches on the fourth wall. Because this beam, this doorpost that's on the fourth wall, it's there literally to hold up the wall. If you have a porch and the beams are holding up the porch, and even if it looks like a ches, you should ask it off if you're mesupik. But if it's, let's say, not in the right when you come in on the side, let's say there's also two beams holding up the porch, on the side of the porch, or this big Acksdera, this warehouse, this room. The whole idea here is, and you have to see in general, this klal is in Allah mezuzah b'chlal. If the thing that's holding up the roof, is that considered a mezuzah or not? The חי'לע. אלא כדי להעמיד התקרה. אבל אם יש לו מחיצה גם ברוח רביעית, אף על פי שהמחיצה נמוכת, ואינו מגיע עד התקרה, ואף פי שאין עשוי חלונס חייב. But if there's anything besides that ruach revi'is, there's also a shtickle wall over there, even if there's a window, or even if it doesn't go all the way up to the roof, if there's a little bit of a ruach revi'is, then it's chayiv b'mezuze, like by a sukkah. It's 2.5 walls. There's the little half. So b'negia to mezuze, if there's 3 and a mashu, then it's also chayiv b'mezuze. Halacha dazayin, bais shar, a hut for a guard, a watch house, or a gate before coming into the yard. There's a bais shar. Bais cotton she'etzel shar hachatzer she'Hashem yeshu sham umirpeses, and the same thing is with a porch. She derech lalo is bola aliyah, and there's from that you could go up to the roof. V'hagino, and a courtyard, v'hadir, and a barn. P'turim mezuze. There, all these places are parted from a mezuze. Came and she'ina lediרה, because there's b'chlal, whatever the dogma, whatever the marshal may be, it's the klal is if the place is chayv, if it's a makom dira, if you can live there, if it's made to live there. A porch is not made to live in. A house for a shomer, it's not made to live in. Today in Russia and different places, they have a shomer that actually lives in a property of a yid, a shomer, whatever it is, and he lives there b'kviyah. So then there's a shayla that he is chayv b'mazuz, but the idea of the klal, a place which is not made, a barn, is not, there's animals over there, whatever it may be, is if it's not a makom dir, it's not chayv b'mazuz. Im yesh beis chayv b'mazuz pachis pasuach lechad meilu oy la'Acksdera chayavim af the pesach shenichnasim lehem mirashus harab. But if you have a house which opens up into the gina, if you have a house which opens up into the chatzir, into the shar, so then it is chayiv b'mezuzah. The shar of the chatzir is also chayiv b'mezuzah, because there's a house in the chatzir. That's mechayiv the whole surrounding of the house. And the four sharei chatzeres, sharei mevoyis, sharei medinas, ayoris, kulan chayav b'mezuzah. So the same thing comes from here, that if there is a gate around a yishuv or a city or whatever it may be, so because there's houses in there that are chayv mezuzah, chayv, it's a makom diyudin, so then the place that comes, all the doors that go to that house are chayv mezuzah, in the shar, in the shomer's shar, in the gina, in the yard, v'chulu v'chulu. And in the porch, if the porch is a porch that has a house connected to the porch, it's chayv mezuzah. If it's a porch for itself, which is not chayv mezuzah, because you don't live there, but anything which is connected to a makom dira is chayv mezuzah. Okay, when Shabbat chayav is b'mezuzah is because the house is chayv mezuzah, the house opens up into that place. And even if you have 10 houses, one open to the next, the Gavna, the Pturin, and even if 9 of them are in a situation that it would be potter, and one of them is Chayiv, if there would be small houses or whatever it may be. But there's one house that is Chayiv Mezuzah, and it's a Makom Diurin. בפנים is Chayiv Mezuzah, Kulan Chayiv is all the doors that go to that are connected, derech, from there straight to that house, are Chayiv Mezuzah. Which means there's a direct connection from this chotzer to this house. This little house, which is, let's say, a teeny house, opens up into a big house and they're connected, so that's also Chayiv Mezuzah, whatever it may be. Even if it's 9 houses, 10 houses, all connected to the big chotzer, to the big house, Chayiv Mezuzah. If you have a gate which opens up into the yard and that yard has a house, Chayiv Mezuzah, like the Rambam brings down, and there are poskim that say that it doesn't make a difference, anything that has a tzuras a Pesach, and even if it doesn't have makom the yurin, it's Chayiv Mezuzah, and if you're mesopik, and if there's a place which is not makom the yurin, you should put up the mezuzah without a bracha. Beis HaMercha, it's a bathhouse, a bursiki, and in a place where they work with the hide, if you want to call it a factory or a bursiki, a place where they work with the behemoths, the leather, where they make the klaf, sefetitis and tefillin. It's part of a smelly place. Beis HaTavilo and the mikveh house, Pturin, they are all parted from a mezuzah b'nei she'ina, ladiras kovid, but it is not, you respect ladiras kovid for the mezuzah, and mechlal, it's not a place where somebody would live. Elo, avol refes, bakar, v'cheder, shemagadim b'yoyfis, but if it would be, let's say, a barn, or a place where you, a lul for tanagelin, a chicken coop, and there's an actual Pesach and mezuzah that comes into that. Beis HaTevin, and a place where they keep the tevin, the eitzim, v'oitzrei shel yayin, shel shar, mashkin, im yesh lahem shiur, ba'yiz chayiv, yesh paiterim. This itself is a machloikis. Lamaisa, I didn't see in a chicken coop or a barn. Could be it's wrong, but the mezuzah, these little houses for the goats or whatever it may be. So there are some that say you do, you don't. You should put it up with a bracha, without a bracha. Warehouse with wool or wheat or whatever, wine. We're not talking about that it's connected to the person's house in his basement, because then it's for sure Chayiv Mezuzah. Because any door that a person has in his house, the kviyus, is Chayiv Mezuzah. But here we're talking about in your field or in a place, you have a chicken coop, and you open up the chicken coop to see what's going on with the chickens, or whatever it may be. If you put a mezuzah or not, it's a machloikis, and you could be soymich on any poisik if yeah or no. Yisham yilismich, and if he does put up a mezuzah, if there's a suffix, it should be without a bracha. B'makim, yudches, shatinekis, metzuyin, ois lefa'am merachatzin sham, ois shtinin sham, yichases ha-mezuzah v'damke, v'his damnus, derech aray seimchen al ha-kisui, avol yitboya sham, tashmish b'zoyin, k'gein lahamid sham, kli yishoichin, enis mechal kisui. In a place where the babies, if there's a changing room, a bathing room, a place where it's smelly, so, and the room is Chayiv Mezuzah, but you're in shol chveis, and the Rebbetzin Pasha needs to change the baby chveis, and she goes out to the place. So in such a place where there are places where they change the baby, or it smells a shtickle from the kinderlach, so la'alach, you should cover the mezuzah. If you could tape something on top of it, a tissue or whatever it may be, the mezuzah should be covered for covet. This is dafka the idea of aray. So you're allowed to be seimach on a kisui. What if it's something which is a mikviyus, place where it's tashmish, its use is for smelling, or it's not mechobit? So he says that a kisui itself wouldn't be enough. You have to see what gather this place is. If it's a